I'm still trying to figure this out. So if something seems off, it probably is. I have lights. I have a camera. I don't have the microphone yet, it's coming. But I feel great. I feel blinded. I know they're really close together, but I genuinely don't have enough cordage or room. So I'm doing the most. Oh my gosh. See? Welcome to the mid-year book freakout tag. I am very much blinded right now, so I don't even know what I'm looking at. Actually, that's much better. Okay, that works just fine. We're okay with this? I hope so. Reading update? I don't know anything about my reading this year. I literally have not been paying attention. Normally, I am like to the T. I am very like obsessive over my like reading goal and like how far behind or ahead I am. I like watch it all the time. This year has not been that year, which is wild because I was like, okay, I'm reading 150 books this year. I need to be on top. And I have not been. I know that I'm about 30 books behind, and I think I've read 40 books this year. So let's see. Let's check Goodreads. And my Goodreads and my Storygraph are very different because I have DNF'd so many things. It's not even funny. Okay, so Goodreads says I've read 40 books and I'm 31 books behind schedule. And then we go over to Storygraph, and that's a different story, okay? I have read, since I've DNF'd so many on there, 36. So technically I've DNF'd 4 books. It feels like a lot more, like it feels like so many. So yeah, and I've read 14,884 pages according to Goodreads. So I am 8,000 pages behind schedule. You know, we're just like behind, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. But we are here for questions. We're here for the tag that we do every year. And I was just rewatching my tag from last year, and oh my gosh. Some stuff in there I was like, oh, I hope I read this. I still have not read, which is really funny to me. Okay, so we'll just like get into the questions because like, why not? I feel like I'm being blinded, so just like hop right in. Like, I feel like I give more of an explanation every year than I am this year. I don't really have much to say. I don't know. A life update, I guess. Work is great. I haven't been reading a whole lot. I've been reading a lot more ebooks. There's that. A little less audiobooks, so it's probably why my reading is so much lower than it should be. Like, I was watching something, it was like 50th book of the year like 2 months ago, and like a memory that I had, and I was like, I was like at 20 at that time this year. It was bad. It was so bad. But anywho, all the books that I have read this year so far are on this shelf over here, so like you can kind of see everything that's going on. The first question is the best book so far this year for me, and I'm gonna tell you I did not prepare this. I'm just gonna grab them off the shelf as I go. So the best book this year so far, I can easily pick out 100%. And I read it in January, and it is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Okay, this was fantastic. This was amazing, and I can't believe that I did not pick this up sooner. Like, can you fall in love with an author? 100%. 100%, because I haven't read her stuff in a while, and this year I was like, I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna read all of her things, and I read this and I lost my mind. It was so fucking good. If you've been hesitating, stop hesitating. You need this. You need this in your life. It was so good. Amazing. This is like the top of my list this year. And I have made a list of like my favorite books this year, and it's this and one other thing, I think. Like, it's not that big. This is the most important thing on that list. The best sequel you've read so far this year. Best sequel. Oof. Have I read many? Best sequel. Ah, I know what it should be. I'm gonna go with the sixth book in the Miss Peas series, which is The Desolations of Devil's Acre by Ransom Riggs. I am so happy that I got through this. This was awesome and amazing, and I need to reread this series because I feel like I didn't spend enough time on it. I also just feel like it took me way too long to get through, so I feel like this needs to be a back-to-back reread, but maybe not this year. But honestly, 10 out of 10, amazing. I think this is the other book on my favorite books of the year list so far. Honestly, it's been a sad reading year. Favorite reread? Oh, I don't think I've reread anything. I haven't. I'm in the middle of rereading Tiger's Quest for like the 4th time, but it's not my favorite book in the series, so it's not my favorite reread. I haven't reread anything this year. Go me. That was kind of the plan. I don't really want to reread anything, so I'm not upset about that at all. Genre you've been loving / reading the most? Okay, don't judge me. Okay, last year in the mid-year freakout tag, if you go back and watch, I say I think I'm getting into romance books, but I don't want to be a romance reader. You know how many romance books I've read this year? Too many. Way too many. I'm reading so many. Hang on. Got into erotica specifically. Monster erotica, and just like mafia smut. So like I have a genre this year, and it is this. Yep. Sorry, Mom. And before you say anything, yes, there is a vlog coming where I read this, so you'll hear me talk about it a lot. New release you haven't read yet but want to. Okay, hear me out. I have a vlog that I'm going to start very soon after I finish one other one, and I'm going to read a bunch of Greek mythology retellings and Greek stories and stuff. And so I went out and bought this. It came out last week, but it is Atlantia by Jennifer Saint, and it literally was just released last week, so I'm very excited about it. I have her other books too. It was weird because her first book I have in paperback, and then her second book I have in hardcover, and then this one came out in paperback instead of hardcover, and I was like, okay, that's weird. But it's also gorgeous. Her covers are just amazing, and I hope that her writing is good because I have not read a single thing. But we're gonna get to that, so stay tuned for a Greek themed vlog. I'm very much looking forward to it. Question number 6. Most anticipated read or release for the second half of the year. Jennifer L. Armentrout has 2 books coming out this year. So that. I don't remember what they're called. Couldn't tell you for the life of me, but I'm very excited for that. Biggest disappointment. I have several. The first DNF I think I had this year was Punk 57, and I got a good chunk into this. This book is about 300 pages. I think I got like 200 pages into it. Like I got so far I wrecked the spine, and I will be getting rid of this. I don't appreciate the angry love interest. He has too much anger problems and he needs to get help. And he also should not be stalking this girl, sneaking into her bedroom at night. It was creepy when Edward did it. It's creepy now. This was disappointing. I've heard so many good things about this. I cannot believe that people like this, that people think this is romantic, that people think this is appropriate or even like acceptable at all. And yes, that's coming from somebody who's reading monster erotica and mafia romance and just garbage trash romance. This was disgusting and should not be allowed. So stop romanticizing this because it is gross. I'm not romanticizing that I'm romanticizing those at all because I'm not. I'm just enjoying them, but this was not enjoyable. It was creepy and disgusting and just awful all around. I don't know what other things I've DNF'd. Let's go through my DNF disappointment list, okay? Shall we? Because there's another one on there I'd like to talk about. I recently, as in yesterday, DNF'd The Never King by Nikki St. Crow. Let me tell you, I was all for a Peter Pan romance. I was not for the severity of how gross this was and how terrible people are in this, and the smut had nothing other than like, oh, we're all stupidly horny, and I hated that, and I couldn't get through it. I got to like chapter 11. I almost got halfway through, and I was like, I genuinely care about the story and I want to know about the curse or whatever, why is Pan dying, what's happening, but I could not get over the fact of the smut in here that was just trash. It was garbage. It did not sit right with me. It was very unnerving. Another one I DNF'd, but not for the same reasons as the other ones, and it is Written in the Stars by Aisha Saeed. I DNF'd this because it is terrifying, okay? I got a good chunk of the way into this, and like a good chunk, like 3/4 of the way into this, and it is about a Pakistani girl who's brought home to Pakistan by her parents to be forcibly married. They literally drug her so that she can get married, and she's never going back to the States. And this is a fear. This is like terrifying in my brain. Like I can't get over how scary real this is, because this happens and genuinely in real life, and it scared the shit out of me, so I could not finish it. But I do think it should be like spread and awareness should be given, because genuinely it is something that we need to talk about and things that need to happen. But I couldn't get through it. It was too scary to me. What else did I DNF? There was like one more, right? Ooh, the other one I DNF'd was Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik, and I still want to give her a chance and a try because her writing is great. Kind of. I didn't know when we were switching point of views in here because I was listening to the audiobook and there was no indication. Not at all. Like, I don't even think the narrator changed. It didn't sound like it. And usually I'm really good at that kind of stuff. So I was confused the whole fucking time. Not to mention, it was very, how do I put this? I don't like Rumpelstiltskin, and I don't like the story of him, and I've never really liked that character in general. Thanks, Shrek. Anyways, but this was a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, and I think the underlying fact of that was the fact that I didn't like it, because I know that I don't like that story, and I didn't even know that going into it. I found out later that it's a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, and it's supposed to be fantasy. It did not feel like fantasy at all. It just felt like a historical retelling of something, and it was just not fun for me. I did not have a fun time, so I didn't get that far into it. But those are my DNFs. I think I DNF'd one more thing. I DNF'd Shadows by Kristen Proby, but that was just because it was too insta-lovey for me. Everything else about it was amazing, and I would still love to read her stuff. And I actually met her, so shout out to her. I asked her if she had anything else spooky, and she was like, yeah, and they had sold out because we got there a little too late. And so I didn't get one from her, but I am excited to try them out. I definitely recommend it if you want like a paranormal romance with insta-love. You'll love it. It was really, really good, except for the insta-love. I was like, not my thing. I think that's it, though. Those are all my DNFs for disappointments. Biggest surprise. Biggest surprise. I have a lot of surprises. Surprises of, like, authors that I've loved before and then didn't like their books. So those ones would be... So surprises of, like, things that I didn't like. I didn't really like The Book of Night by Holly Black. I didn't really like The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, which is wild because Vicious was one of my favorite books this year. And I didn't like the second half of Siege and Storm. The first half was exciting, adventurous, and amazing, and the second half was like, nothing's happened. So those are my biggest, like, what the fuck surprises. My biggest wow surprises that I loved. We're about to go down this roll, but I don't like tennis. I loved Carrie Soto is back. Probably Taylor Jenkins Reid magic. I don't know. This was crazy great. Like, crazy great. And time travel. I've liked 2 time travel books this year. Excuse me? I loved Wrong Place, Wrong Time, and I loved Ruby Red. Who am I? I don't like time travel in book. I hate when people mess with time. This one was a little bit more acceptable because they weren't messing with time. They were just cursed, basically, and so I accepted it, and it was really cute. This one, she literally goes back in time, like, almost day by day to, like, solve a murder that her son commits because of her husband, and all these things, and it just keeps going back and back. She ends up going, like, back, like, 20-something years, and trying to figure out where it all stems from, and it's honestly wild. Like, she keeps re-meeting this guy, and she's like, I am a time traveler. And he's like, no, you're not. So he's like, every time I meet a time traveler, I tell them to tell me this. And then she tells it to him, and he's like, oh my god, this is amazing. You're a time traveler. It's wild. It's wild, man. Like, what? What? Still reeling over this one. Favorite new author. My favorite new author is new to me, and I met her too, and it is Grace McGinty. I read Mannix because I was going to meet her at the author signing, so it's signed, and I got a couple more books. I pre-ordered some from her, and I have just been reading and reading. I've read the second one of this one, not as exciting as the first, but I am excited for the other ones. I will be finishing it. Her second book, though, in this series, Frenzy, mixes all of her characters. Like, her characters all live in the same world and they cross over, and so I had to read some of her other books, and Newly Undead and Dark River has characters that come into Frenzy, so I read that one, and it was amazing, and I'm just like, I'm having such a good time in the Grace McGinty universe. Like, I didn't know this existed, and now I'm here, and I'm just like having the best time. And I'm currently reading The Redeemables, the whole 10-book series. It says 10-book trilogy. I don't know, but I'm reading it. I also have The Redeemables signed and another one of hers that I can't remember the name of right now. Oh, but I'm so excited. Newest favorite character? This one's gonna be hard. I don't think I have one. Is that bad to say? I genuinely don't feel like I've read enough to find a new favorite character, so I don't know what to tell you for this. I need to read more. A book that made you cry. Have I cried this year? Clockwork Princess did make me cry. This one, yeah. This was my first time reading this, so of course it made me cry. A book that made you happy. Okay. Now we get to finally talk about this. Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. Oh my god! I didn't think I was gonna like this much, but listen to the opening, like, lines, okay? This is, like, the first little bit. The fourth cocktail had seemed like a good idea. So did the bangs, come to think of it. But now that I'm struggling to unlock my apartment door, I'm guessing I might regret the last spritz in the morning. Maybe the bangs, too. June told me breakup bangs were always a very bad choice when I sat in her chair for a cut today. But June wasn't going to her friend's engagement celebration, newly single, that night. Bangs were in order, and I was hooked from that first paragraph. Like, this is amazing. 10 out of 10. This is exactly what I needed, and shout out to my best friend for getting it for me for a present. But like, oh my god, this was so cute, so lovely, and definitely worth it. I still don't like Sam, the love interest, garbage man, but everything about the main character was amazing. I don't remember her name. Percy. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year, and for this one I'm going with a Fairy Loot one. This was just a heads up, Kiss or Kill. It was the May 2023, so if you don't want a spoiler, even though it's like June already, June's almost over. June will probably be over by the time you see this, then look away now, but this is the book. It is called The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramis. Kate Dramis. Wow, why is that so hard? Anyways, look at the pretty colors of this, and like the edges, like this is like genuinely so pretty. Like, look at that. I can't get over how pretty this is. Yes, I'm subscribed to the adult fantasy. That's what it looks like under the dust jacket. But when I open this, it brought tears to my eyes. That's how gorgeous I thought it was. There's even like the fan art on the inside, which has a bunch of people, and I can't get over the colors of this. Like, whoever made this with like the gray and the pink did perfect. They chose the perfect colors. What books do you plan to read by the end of the year? All of them? My reading goal is 150 books. I'm nowhere near that. I'm at 40. I'm like not even halfway there yet, and we're halfway through the year. So everything. I'm planning on reading so many things. I'm doing an Avatar, The Last Airbender reading vlog right now. Gonna do a reading vlog for Greek mythology books. I have 2 manga reading vlogs planned for Sailor Moon and Shugo Chara. Like, this is the year. If I read a bunch of like graphic novels and stuff, I feel like it will help me out there. And I'm just trying to like power through as many books as I possibly can. So I plan on reading a whole book today, so we'll see how that goes. And then the final question is favorite video or post you've done this year. My favorite video was my Twilight video, and a lot of people didn't really watch it, and that's okay. But if you want to watch my favorite video, I got high and talked about like my icks in Twilight, Midnight Sun, and Life and Death. Yes, there's an age restriction on it. It's because I got high so that I could talk about them because they were disgusting. So there's that. It's just me sitting there giggling most of the time, but it's very funny. That is the mid-year book Freakout tag. I hope this was interesting. If you'd like to answer the questions in the comments, by all means, I'd love to hear your answers. Is there something here that you disagree with? Go for it. Let's have a discussion about the books that I talked about. And I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!